Hello, Emma. How are you?
Hello, I'm very well. How are you?
Good. I just spoke to Jack and I was like, did you have a hand in Emma being cast in the show? She was like, yes, I did. So how did that go about?
Oh, well, I love her, first of all. I'm obsessed with her. And, we have always wanted to work together again since Timer. It just didn't happen. And then she called me. Like we've always stayed in contact at my baby shower. Like she's in my life. And she called me one day. I was doing laundry.
Mhm.
She's like, "Hey, girl, so you want to come play? You want to come? You want to come do WandaVision?" And I was like, "Well, yes, of course. Any opportunity to work with you, and then Marvel." I'm like, just that's an added like, what the hell? Okay. She's like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, totally want you to do it. I just need you to. I can't tell you anything really about it. Um, I just need you to kind of just go throw on something periody, something 20th century vibe, and go to LA casting and read these little lines. And it's for Kevin Feige. And again, I'm like, no pressure. Like, okay.
Mhm.
She's like, just go do it and make him like you, because if he approves you, you're in. I said, okay. And I did, I guess, because I got
Mhm.
hired. And we started shooting in Atlanta like 2 weeks later.
Now you've done other
Absolute thrill.
projects before, but was this a project in which it was a little daunting knowing that, like, okay, it's a secretive project, you can't talk about it,
Hmm.
your script is taken back or something like that, you got to keep
Yeah.
mum to it appears.
Yeah, it was definitely well, I mean, I joked when I put it online, I joked saying I don't, I have trouble keeping secrets, but the truth is I'm very good at keeping secrets, to the
Mhm.
point where I will very likely forget the secret because I just train my brain to just dump out the information.
Mhm.
Um, but it was challenging just because I wanted to talk about it. You know, I wanted to like this is really really fun. So in that sense, yeah, that was trouble. That was hard, just because I wanted to talk, and it was I I didn't never thought I'd be part of the Marvel universe. So to
Speak-
be it was incredible.
And speaking of Marvel, like obviously when you get the call and she's telling you it's a Marvel thing, did you feel that you have to brush up on anything
Mm.
about Marvel? Were you already a fan of Marvel? Like I'm sure people say they've seen the films, but have you seen enough of them? You know, or they just tell you just go in there? You don't have to worry about not seeing movies.
Well, because for what I was immediately doing wasn't based on something that had already happened. You know, I didn't need that particular backstory
Mhm.
for Dottie right then, but for just to understand, what the world like right now,
Mhm.
obviously be familiar. But I hadn't seen all the Marvel movies, but I'd seen enough, and I obviously knew what happens with Vision and all of that. So um, when getting the script and like, oh, he's Wanda and Vision. Like, how is that happening? How is this? What world is this right now? It was exciting. It was just so exciting. She's such a good writer. So it was just such a thrill to be able to
Mhm.
just come to work with her. I mean, actually, she wasn't at work. She was always Zooming because she got stuck with
Mhm.
COVID. Um, but yeah.
Everything seems like everything old is new again, and we're all home. We're all watching series, whether it's an old series or a new series. This you have to find something to watch because we're not going anywhere. And
Hmm.
obviously, there's a fan base that knows of you because of what you did in the past.
Hmm.
So when a trailer comes out, or at least when they see episode 2, and it goes, "Is that so and so?" And granted, who knows what other shows they may have seen you in. But for a lot of people, this is a big profile for you because everybody's watching the first 2 episodes.
Hmm.
What does that do for you knowing that, like, obviously when you were on Buffy, it had its fan base, and now you have another fan base because even if they didn't watch Buffy, they now know you from this because it's part of the Marvel universe.
Um, wait, what? What's the question? What's it
The
like
que-
having the two fan bases?
well, yeah.
Or
What's like? How do you feel knowing that, like, you had a fan base when you had Buffy, and now there's a new
yeah,
fan base who are now knowing you because you're part of this MCU. The
yeah, it's
MCU.
nice. It's nice. I mean, Buffy, you know, Buffy has this big life. It's been a part of the zeitgeist. It always will be. It's a very relevant, you know, critically lauded show. Um, you know, but Buffy existed in this little bubble, really. I mean, it was a small show, really. I mean, it was a small network. It wasn't, we didn't have, you had this sort of, well, it's got this silly name. So is it any good? Which is part of the fun, part of the genius of that. I mean, it was everything with that show was very pointed and very, very much an allegory and very, I could go on and on, and many have, you could literally study about that show in college, I think. I've heard. So, there's plenty that's been said about that, but again, it existed on a very small scale. And for much of the time, you never knew what anybody was really thinking. There was really no big social media presence at all. So, that life grew, as it went on. It's like, oh, okay, you can see it in, reviews, or you see it, people recognizing you or whatever. But it was slow, slow buildup to what it ultimately became. Whereas, stepping into the Marvel universe, it's already going to be big. There's no question of, are people going to see this? And I've never had that luxury, whether it's a big budget thing, whether it's starring in a movie, whether it's being whatever it is, you just don't know if people are ever going to see it, or they're going to care, if they're going to have something to say. And going in, there'll be plenty of things to be said about the show, and people will have, lots of opinions, and there'll be passion regarding whatever it is. So, that's daunting, but also really liberating,
Mhm.
because that one thing you kind of just don't have to worry about. You're like, well, everyone's going to see it. So, okay,
Well, everyone,
everyone's going to see it. Like, okay. And then now I can just focus on doing a good job.
everyone has seen it.
You
It's
don't
been
want a
good
big fan
talking to
base
you.
like that hating you. You just don't.
You know,
You don't want the hate coming for you on a scale like Marvel. So it's like, God, do a good job.
you did a good job. It's definitely been good talking to you. Definitely
Thank you.
have a great day and stay safe.
Thank you. You too. You
Take
too.
care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Wilson. Bye.